We are live.
Hi, everyone.
What is going on, guys? How are you out there?
Wait, is it working?
It's working. It says that we're live.
Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? Oh, here we go. Now we have some people. All right.
All right. We'll just give it a few minutes to let this populate a little bit.
Hope everyone's having a great Friday. Hey, Tori. Hi, Kayla.
Is everybody ready for the weekend? It's an exciting time.
Hi, Abby. See if I can wave at some people here.
Yeah, wave at them.
And Chester wants to say hi.
I think Chester wanted to wave too. Here's Chester.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. We have a sort of like a brief agenda today.
That's right.
It's just the two of us, unless we decide to have any surprise guests that want to join. But we are going to be talking about answering a few questions that some of our community wrote in, specifically to Mental Health and Mental Health Awareness Month. And then we're going to actually go through one of our boxes and explain the different products and the reason why they were selected. And then what else do we have?
Well, we got a couple special things planned.
Oh, yeah?
For a little later in the segment. Yes.
All right. So should we start with the community questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the last 24 hours, we have sent out requests for questions for Mental Health Awareness Month, which, if you guys aren't aware, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So that's why we're doing these IG Lives to kind of help spread the word. But we did get a few questions from some of our community. And the first question is, this person wanted to know any tips for depressing thoughts at night.
Okay, so I'll take that one. I have experienced depression many times, unfortunately, and I can totally relate to the fact that those depressing thoughts tend to bubble up at night. And again, I'm not a mental health, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed counselor, or anything else. So any advice that I give you is just purely from my experience and things that I've talked about with our community and other things that have helped them. So just to kind of preface that. Some things that have helped me is really creating a nighttime routine. So if you don't set yourself up correctly for bedtime, then those ruminating thoughts and, actually like getting into bed, those depressing thoughts can bubble up. So one thing that's helped me is really unwinding. So 2 hours before bed, try to turn off your devices, try to limit any screen time. So the blue light that your phone and your TV and your computer emits can actually be really damaging to your sleep and your overall health. Also, think about the content that you're consuming right before bed. So, oops.
Let's try that again.
There's
to wave.
There's our window with our gratitude jar. But yeah, so think about the content that you're consuming before bed. So if you're watching the news and that's creating stress or making you feel nervous or anxious, you're reading a book, which is a great thing to do if you don't want to use devices. But if you're reading like a self-help book or a book that is putting pressure on, or inadvertently putting pressure on you, and you're starting to think about what you have to do the next day or how you can implement these new tools the next day, that can lead to a lot of ruminating thoughts as well. So try to eliminate that. I would say do something calming that promotes the senses. So either take a bath with your favorite soaps and kind of create a relaxing environment. Another thing that has helped me is, because everyone experienced depression differently, but one thing that I experienced was total numbness. And that's why creating, stimulating the senses was really helpful, because I felt literally nothing. And so to be able to put on a diffuser with an essential oil that I loved, or taking a warm bath or something like that was kind of stimulating the senses really helped me. Another tip is make a happy memory journal. So fill a journal or even just like 3 pieces of paper with a few different memories that you have that were happy moments in your life. And so when you're feeling really down and really depressed, you can go back and read those memories, and it like makes you think like, oh, I felt this happy before and I can feel this happy again. Another thing is create some affirmations for yourself. So if you like you have these patterns of negative thoughts, like I'm not good enough, I'm worthless. So maybe when you're feeling okay during the day, knowing that those thoughts come at night, you can actually write out the negative thought and put a line through it and then an arrow and write the reframe thought or the positive thought. And so that when you're laying in bed, you can pull out that piece and you feel those thoughts coming on, you can pull out that piece of paper and like see the thought crossed out, that you crossed it out, and then your reframed version of it. So those are some tips that have helped me. Some other things just to keep in mind are there's some really amazing hotlines out there, so you can call to talk to anyone at the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number. There's also crisis text line, so it's just you text home to 741-741 and you can talk to a crisis counselor immediately, and it's really just someone to talk to. Another thing, we're gonna have her on later this month, but her name's Gabby, and she runs this organization called the Buddy Project, and she literally pairs you fill out a profile and she pairs you with a buddy who's similar in to you or like what you're looking for, and you can have someone to talk to when you're feeling down or feeling like you need extra support. So those are some tips.
Those are great. I really like that. I really like the reframing option.
Yeah, that's been like really helpful for me, because there were statements that I would say over and over again to myself that like all the time, and so knowing how to reframe them or seeing myself actually reframing them previously was really helpful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our other questions that we got were, what are your tips for staying happy in quarantine? Which obviously this is one that can affect all of us. We're all in quarantine. I wrote a couple things down here that I thought was interesting. I left my paperwork in the other room for all the technical scientific definitions of this first one, but making yourself smile is actually a scientific thing where, that old saying, turn that frown upside down, actually tricks your brain into believing that you're happy. And so
there's like science behind
there's actual science
That's
behind
cool.
this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's actual science behind this. And like I said, I had it all printed out and then I forgot it. But but my other one that I had written down is it's really about managing and monitoring the foods that you're eating, which really comes down to this term called microbiome. And we have some articles that we featured on our blog, the Broglie blog, about microbiome. But really what that is recently scientists have found that there is a direct connection between your gut and your brain. Yeah. There's actually nerve lines that go directly from your brain to your gut, almost like a highway, and they transmit information.
And like 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin is actually in your gut, which is in your microbiome, which is kind of mind-blowing, because so many people think that serotonin, which is like the happy hormone, is being monitored in your brain, when actually it's most of it is in your gut. So yeah, we have a really amazing blog article written by a awesome one of our partners, so check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually one of the things that I was going to talk about is the serotonin and dopamine levels. Mm-hmm. The gut can actually create the exact same chemical that your brain creates in serotonin and dopamine. And so with it being 90 to 95% in your gut, there's all these sayings that go back in history. I've got a gut feeling about this, or like, oh, I couldn't stomach that. And it's kind of funny that they all relate to your stomach, but it's all things that you're thinking.
Yeah. Or feelings or emotions.
Yeah, exactly. And so, there's a few things to think about. And this is actually something that we talked about yesterday, was salt intake. And so, especially because we're in quarantine right now, we're all cooking for ourselves. We're not going out to eat as much, so it can become a little bit difficult to find foods that are comforting for one, but are also healthy. And I'm not perfect at this by any means, and so I actually went and checked this out. So
you love those frozen.
I love my
frozen meals.
I love my frozen pizzas, but I went and looked at this, and this is from our fridge in the kitchen. So a frozen pizza has 2,640 milligrams of salt, which is 115% of your daily value intake, which is absolutely crazy. And
so
I know
you eat the pizza and then it's like done.
And
you're over for the day.
That's one meal. Yep.
Yeah.
23 grams of saturated fat, again, 115% of your daily value intake. So, just something to think about.
Yeah.
They a lot of people talk about a vegetarian diet, pescatarian diet. All of these things kind of play into effect with each other. And let's see. Oh, this is actually one last thing in this whole thing that I found really interesting. There was a study done in 2017 for people with moderate to severe depression. Now, it should be noted that these people were on antidepressants and they were not taken off of them during this study. And they chose the people that were leading the study chose a Mediterranean diet solely for the high fiber content. Now, over the course of 12 weeks, at the end of the 12 weeks, 32% of the people that were in the diet side of the study improved, their depression symptoms improved, while only 8% of the counseling group symptoms improved. So it just goes to show that there's a very large percentage of people that improved their symptoms just from changing their diet.
Yeah, I think it's so true that, and we say this a lot, but you are what you eat. And many people think just from a physical body perspective. And it's so true that those things that you put in your, consume in your body, it affects your mind. And we have a whole section in our magazine called Mood Food, because it's so true that, I think it comes back to education too. If you grew up eating frozen pizzas and, you just weren't exposed to those things that, you don't know. So that's why we're, we partner with a lot of dietitians and nutritionists to help educate you on the different foods that are helpful and some recipes that are easy. The worst thing is you're trying to be healthy and you're I have to follow this 18-step recipe. How do I do that? No.
Right.
So a lot of our recipes have limited ingredients and
very
only
simple.
a few steps. And there's so many simple things. I think another thing for how to stay happy during quarantine is we joke about this because Dustin has so many hobbies. He has more hobbies. He has enough hobbies for 3 or 4 people combined.
It's true.
And I think that during this time I've noticed that I really don't have many hobbies. And he's I'm just going to go work on this, or I'm going to go work on that. And I'm oh my gosh, what do I do with my free time? And that is so important because my default is to go work on something for my job, for a Broglie box. And it's we should be doing something for ourselves, and hobbies are a great way to do that. So whether that's drawing or coloring with your new coloring book, or picking up an instrument, or
I've done all of those.
Yeah.
Done them all.
Gardening, we just made a garden box, which has been really cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of boxes.
Yes. So one of our other questions was about working from home. So we've worked from home. I've worked from home for years, even before I launched Broglie Box. And so we've kind of developed these habits and tips that I think are really useful for people who have never experienced working from home. I think one thing that's really helpful is to maintain a routine and time block. So one item we actually put in our newest Stress Less box is a time cube. So it comes like this, but it actually looks like this out of the box. So there's 4 different options: 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes. And when you turn it, so right now, the 5-minute is up, so it's set a 5-minute timer, and you put on your desk, and then you can work on something for 5 minutes or however much time you want to set. And it's really helpful because I actually realized that I have a false perception of time. So I would make a to-do list that was like 30 things long and think that I could get all of that done in a day. And then over and over again, I wouldn't get those things done, and I would feel bad about myself. And so by using the time cube to actually time out how long each thing takes me, it helped me so much to actually be able to construct a to-do list that was reasonable. And then I felt so much more accomplished that I could finish everything on my to-do list because of that. So this thing is awesome, and it's in our Stress Less box. You can also get them on Amazon. They're really great.
This is one of my favorite things that we've put into the box. So this is a mini diffuser. It's USB powered, so you can use it at your desk. You can use it in the car if you really wanted to. You can use it by your nightstand. And essentially what it does is it is paired with one of these awesome aromatherapy oils from EO, everyone. It smells amazing. You'll notice this one is focused. We have a couple different options that we send out, but yeah, the aromatherapy diffuser, there's a lot of research on aromatherapy, how it can lead to calming effects and things like that. So, places that you're working at a lot, like your desk, it's great to have this around because it can help you be calm, it can help you focus.
Yeah, and even like when you're working from home, creating an environment that's conducive to your work environment. So you could put music on that's like soothing and like helps you focus. You can put your diffuser on and try to sit by a window. If you don't have a window, then use like a mood light or something, just to create an environment that's conducive to work. The next thing that we have is they're called Aqua Notes. And
I love these things.
They're great. Like, we've had them in our shower since we moved into our house like 2 years ago. And oh my God, can you believe it's been 2 years?
2 years.
It's crazy. But anyway, Aqua Notes, you can actually write in the shower, so it doesn't wash it off. And so like there would be so many times where I would have an idea or just like a thought that I wanted to remember, and it would always come in the shower because it was like this meditative state that I would get in the shower. And then by the time I would get out of the shower, I'd get distracted and I would forget about what I was like wanting, my idea that I had. So that's why we wanted to put the Aqua Notes in this box, because it really helps with that, and then you don't have to forget anything.
Yeah, this is a product that I personally use, so I'm endorsing it. It's called NeuroGum, and essentially what it is a gum that has all of these different nootropic things, vitamins, things like that in it. So it's got a little bit of caffeine, so it's kind of like drinking coffee without all the negative effects of coffee. But it's vegan, it's aspartame-free, sugar-free, gluten-free. This stuff is about as clean as it gets. Yeah,
there's B vitamins and L-theanine, which are 2 vitamins, and I think L-theanine is an amino acid, and it helps you focus and eliminate anxiety and all that good stuff. So yeah, that product's awesome. The next is a massage roller ball. So this feels so good, and you can do it to someone else, you can do it to yourself. Like, I hold so much tension in my neck, especially when I'm working. I tend to like hunch over the computer, over the laptop. And so to have an actual tool or device to help massage that out is great. I think I always viewed massage as like this thing that like the rich and famous only got access to. I don't know. Like, I just thought like massaging, what? And it's actually like something you can totally do yourself with something as simple as this, and it actually rolls and you can hold it. But there's been studies that show that chronic stress can lead to inflammation in the body. And this goes back to what we were saying about what you eat too, because when you eat certain foods, it inflames your internal system. But massage actually helps helps with that inflammation. So that's why we put this in the Stress Less box as well. You want to talk about these?
Yeah, so these are actually really cool. My glasses that I'm wearing right now have the same technology in them. They're called blue blocking glasses. And what they do... Them. Yes, please model them for us. Ah, wonderful. What they do is they have a technology in them that blocks the blue light coming from your screen, from your phone, from your computer screen, things like that. Blue light has been, the studies have shown that blue light leads to anxiety and a lot of fatigue on your eyes. So if you're sitting in front of a computer screen, yes, exactly. If you're sitting in front of a computer screen for extended amounts of time, you can really fatigue your eyes by doing that. And so these glasses help reduce the effects of that.
Yeah. The last thing we have in the Stress Less box is a jump rope. And I just, I think at this point, most people have heard about the positive effects of exercise as it relates to the mind. So you have an endorphin release. And I think I saw Heather on here. She's one of our contributors, but she's a fitness expert, and she's contributed some workouts for us. And she does workouts live twice a week. So definitely check her out. But anyway, we included the jump rope so that you could have an easy thing to do no matter where you are. You can get some cardio in and just move your body. So the last thing is our Peace of Mind magazine, and we have this version that's specifically for working and decreasing your stress in a work environment. So some of the topics that we have are dealing with imposter syndrome, dealing with burnout. So what is burnout? What are the signs and symptoms, and how do you deal with it? How to deal with a toxic coworker, some 10 simple exercises for mental powerlifting, find your calling, so how to balance passion with practicality, and then some further information on, when is it time to seek professional help and what does that look like. We also have an entire resource section with some of our favorite apps for meditation, mindfulness. There's some crisis hotline numbers in here, some book recommendations. So yeah, the Stress Less Work Edition kit is really awesome. We're excited to kind of drop that box this week. And yeah, so I was trying to follow any of the comments, but does anyone have any other questions about mental wellness or about that box in particular? Joan said the roller is great for your feet while you sit. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. If you're binging Netflix, that massage roller ball is primo.
Good points about finding other outlets besides work. Yeah, it's so necessary. Geo Neo said, almost as if the bacteria in your gut has their own mind. So true. Yeah,
there's over a trillion bacteria in your gut.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of bacteria, a lot of good bacteria.
Yeah.
All right, well, I have a little segment that I kind of stole the idea from John Krasinski.
All right.
But I wanted to share.
At least you admit it.
Yeah, plagiarism at its best. So we're going to do a little good news segment. These are two quick things that I found. Our kind of topic for today, has been a lot of working from home stuff, quarantine, things like that. So I know that a lot of us have been doing Zoom meetings, FaceTime calls, things like that. And so I found this company called Sweet Farm Animal Shelter, which is in Northern California. And they have a service that you can do called Goat to Meeting, which is a play on Go to Meeting. And you can FaceTime or Zoom with an animal from their animal shelter.
What are the animal options?
So we have a turkey, sheep, pigs, llamas, and more.
Oh my God, we need to Zoom a llama.
Yes, absolutely. But
we should do a live stream with the llama on the Broglie Box Instagram. I think that would bring everyone joy.
The best part about this is that they can also set it up to where your boss or whoever you're Zooming with doesn't know that the llama is going to come on the screen.
Oh my God.
And then
surprise,
the llama can just hang out.
You have a llama joining your meeting.
Another fun thing that kind of ties in with everything that we're talking about today. There was a group in, I believe it was Australia, that started a Facebook group called Bin Isolation. It now has more than 1 million members, and all of the members dress up in costumes to take out their trash.
What?
Yeah.
Like what kind of costumes?
Oh, there's some great ones. So there was a guy who dressed up as an MMA fighter or a boxer, and he wore hamburger buns around his waist to look like he had a six-pack.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, he put on
Like he put 6 hamburger buns?
Yeah, he strapped them to
my
himself. There was an 80s workout enthusiast. There's Disney princesses. You know, it kind of just depends on whatever you have in your closet.
Should we do this?
I feel like we should do this.
Our trash night is Monday night, like is when we take it out, and it comes on Tuesday. So we'll keep you posted next. Oh, that's coming soon in the next few days.
Yeah.
Oh, someone asked, what city is Goat to Meeting out of?
I forgot to write it down. It's in Northern California. It's in like the San Francisco area. So
we'll post about it on our stories later. We'll find the information for you. But I feel like it's Zoom or like it's over FaceTime or Zoom, so it shouldn't matter what city you're calling in from because they should be able to do it virtually.
Yeah, it said that they've had an influx of requests for animals since
we're gonna try to get a llama on here, guys.
That would be an interesting IG live for Broglie Box.
It would. I would think it would bring a lot of happiness personally, but that's just me.
All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you for tuning in today, listening to us talk. We're doing this all month, actually, if you didn't know. So next week, we've got an entire new set of people coming on the panel. We do these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon.
Pacific time. And let's see, we have Gabby from the Buddy Project, who I was telling you about, the pairing service. She's coming on next week. We have a breathwork teacher. So if you're interested in breathwork, and she's an anxiety coach as well, and how she's going to talk about how breathwork and anxiety relief are related. And then we have a therapist coming on as well to talk about tips on managing stress and anxiety during COVID. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and let us know if you have any feedback or any people that you would want to see come on the live stream besides the llama. We already have that one in the docket. And yeah, thanks again, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.